Hi there. So today I am working on a bit of a fun project. I'm actually working on some signage, kind of custom stuff. The powers that be would like some clearer signage at our entrances and exits of our elementary, middle school, high school, the parking lot. They got the signage, and the signage happens to be double-sided. Not a problem, I just have to create a bit of a bracket to hang it differently because I can't use a sign post on a double-sided sign because the post would be in the way. So they've asked if I could mount them on top of the gate posts. So I looked at those and went, yeah, I can do that. So that's what I'm doing.
Buckle up for safety as I give you a day in the life of facilities maintenance.
All right, let's get to building some posts. So I decided to go with some 3-inch square tubing. It's pretty robust and it'll be a good profile for the existing gate posts. First thing I needed to do was modify them a little bit because I want to close off the ends and seal the tops much like the gate posts already are. This is where it really pays to use a decent quality cutting wheel, because the cheap ones, you just go through them like crazy. But I was actually able to do this whole thing with one wheel. Having said that, in retrospect, were I to do this again, I'd probably do it a little bit differently. I would simply get a 12-inch long piece of 3-inch wide flat stock, cut it into 4 3-inch by 3-inch squares, and then weld those squares onto the tops of the posts. While it would have been a little bit more welding, it would have been a lot fewer cuts. I also found, if I'm honest, that doing it this way was a bit of a hassle, bending that flap over afterwards and getting it to sit straight. I did change up my tactics a little bit and decided to use some heat on the remaining 3, and that made the bends a little bit more accurate. You can see what I'm referring to here. One on the left was the one that I used some heat on, the one on the right was the one that I did not. Bar clamps are very useful, and I found it useful in this case to use a bar clamp to squeeze the end flap nice and tight so I could go ahead and weld. A little bit of cleanup and these are done, and now I just have to work on the part that will allow me to attach the signs.
Alright, the posts are basically done. Next up, I need to cut the flat bar, and my signs are 24 inches high, so I'm going to make the flat bar 20 inches. Allow for 2 inches of space on either end. And then, once I cut my flat bar, then I'm going to clamp them together in pairs and then drill pilot holes through them and then drill my final hole through. I'm using 5/16 stainless steel hardware to attach the signs to these posts, and so that's the size that I will be drilling.
So everything that happens now, from dressing the ends to taking these over to the drill press, happens while these two pieces are clamped together. Something that I can't overstate: whenever you're going to be painting something, it needs to be spotless. Every bit of oil and grease and dirt needs to be removed, so I am giving all my pieces a quick wipe down with just a basic cleaner right now, and then I'll go over them again with a degreaser and make sure they are clean. The reason I'm doing it now as opposed to after everything is assembled is it's just easier to clean things now, even though when all is said and done, I'll give them a quick wipe down afterwards. But in this way my paint will adhere and you'll be much happier with the finished result.
Well, I've got everything cleaned up, and I'm just working out the best way to prep this for welding this in place. I've grabbed some hardware from the shop here, but it's a little bit too long. I want to be able to squeeze this tight and then set it in place. So I got to run up to my shop, grab what I need, and come back. ready for paint. And if you're wondering what color that's going to be, well, you remember the color of the gate posts, right? The hairs on my arms feel like I'm wearing the paint now.
Look at these signs, look how they shine for you. With everything they do, well, they were all yellow.
That's good for a first coat. The reason I didn't do the bottoms is because I will be welding those to the tops of the posts outside, so no sense painting what I'm going to be burning off later.
So I'll see you again when the rain stops. Well, the sun has come out, so it's time to get back to work. But before I do that, I have to do a quick repair on my portable welder. The last time I used it, I had it in the back of the trailer, and the generator rolled over top of the gun, and that jammed up the trigger, so it doesn't work right anymore. So I've got a new gun with a nice, smooth trigger.
So this is the first post I'm going to tackle today. I say tackle today, but I'm going to get all of them done today. I'm going to start by grinding off the paint here to give myself a nice exposed metal surface. And I'm going to take one of these bad boys here and weld it to the top. And I will show you how I'm going to do that. Not all of these posts are perfectly level, or plumb I should say. This one's not bad, but if I weld the sign posts, just weld them without plumbing them and making them true, I could end up with some crooked looking signs. So I think at this point the important thing to do is to make sure my post that I'm welding on top of here will be level. I keep saying level, will be plumb.
So I discovered that our generator has an O2 sensor on it, and when it was oriented in such a way that the exhaust was facing towards the cab of the side-by-side, the exhaust gases were kind of getting trapped in that little pocket of space, and I guess the generator figured it was indoors and that it shut down. It wouldn't run for me. I had to actually turn the generator around 180 degrees so the exhaust was pointing out the back end. Another thing I discovered is that the generator does not like to run when my welder is set at position 4 for power. I needed to dial it back to 3, which seems odd since it is a 7500 watt generator, But maybe that's just peak power. Maybe it's regular running power just can't sustain the mass power of my little welder.
Oh yeah, I learned one more thing. With the amount of vibration that comes from the generator, I cannot leave anything that I don't want to fall on the ground on the tailgate. So with this one now done, I will move on to the next post. So looking at the lean on this one, it just has to come this way ever so slightly, and it needs to come forward ever so slightly. So I'm going to put a nice solid tack weld right here so the whole thing doesn't fall over when I wedge something very, very tiny underneath here to just correct it, and then I can go ahead and weld away. Well, it's now time to put some signs on these posts. I could almost just friction fit this and walk away, but I won't. Little tip for you, if you're ever doing anything with two holes in it, it's probably a good idea to drill your first one, anchor your first one, and then drill your other hole. Because things can move in between drilling this one and that one if you don't have a bolt going through there first. And now, what could possibly be the most satisfying thing about this whole job. All right, I guess it's time to sit here and watch and see how many people read the signs. I'm just kidding. We all know that people don't actually read signs. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Yeah, I gotta get out of here. I'll just exit right over. Oh no, I can't exit there. Someone will see me.